Welcome to another episode of The Common Thread. I'm your host, Scott Stone, and I'm here today with a very special guest. Today's guest is a man who built external success and then walked straight into silence to find something deeper. In 1996, he founded a healthcare company that grew into a major player in the industry, Plexis Healthcare Systems. By his late 20s, he had climbed the corporate ladder, arrived at the top, and realized something quite unsettling. He had everything he thought he wanted, and yet still felt empty. Instead of chasing the next achievement, he did something radical. He stepped into silence, sitting in a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat under Goenka. What began as curiosity quickly became devotion as he continued to observe his mind. Over the years, silence stripped away his identities, confronted his cravings, held him through disillusionment, and ultimately led him to Maui, where he now leads transformational retreats through the Quepasana Foundation. I met Jorge during Quepasana 106 earlier this year, where I sat for my first Vipassana-style meditation retreat under his direction. What I experienced challenged my nervous system, dissolved parts of my constructed identity, and introduced me into a stillness I didn't know was possible. Today, we'll explore the paradox of achievement and emptiness, silence and joy, and discipline and play, and what happens when a successful CEO realizes that the most important frontier left to explore is the mind itself. Jorge, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. First off, just thank you for the work you do. The Quepasana retreat was absolutely incredible, and the way you've constructed this oasis of self-inquiry is quite magical. It's really beautiful, and it really speaks to just the work that you've done on yourself. And yeah, could we go back to maybe, I don't know if I want to call it the beginning, but how did you find this work, and what led you to explore deeper parts of yourself?
So I could probably trace that back to my late 20s. I had achieved a fair amount of material success in my life by then, had achieved the American dream, had everything I wanted, or I thought I wanted, but there was still that splinter in my mind. I still was having existential angst that was still looking for answers, essentially. So I started searching in every direction that I could and going to monasteries and ashrams and retreats and healing practices and all of these things. And I found that the thing that I was always most drawn to was the contemplative part of any of these experiences, the inner work. And that ultimately led me to find out there was this place you could go to and sit in silence for 10 days and do just that, just a simple meditation practice over a 10-day period in complete silence. And that really appealed to me. So that's what really got me on that track. I finally went to do that one course, and it sparked something in me that led, and has just continued to grow ever since.
Mm-hmm. What did you find in those first couple of Vipassana retreats?
Well, for one thing, it was devoid of dogma, which I really appreciated. It didn't lean into religion. It was just a pure, simple practice that was profound. It's also very scientific, very logical, very clear, very simple. And having come from a technology background, I found something that with 2 lines of code could give you everything. All the answers, essentially, if you just practiced it over and over and over. So it really appealed to how my mind works and how I viewed life. And it's also a householder's practice, which means that this is not about becoming a monk and running off to a monastery and living in a cave. This is about engaging in life, being in the marketplace. And so it allowed me to continue to live that material life that I had created for myself, but start diving deeply into transformation.
Yeah, I think that's something that these practices that people find, the integration of it all into your daily life, is something that I would say most people struggle with. What did you do in order to adhere to some level of habituation and make this part of who you are now becoming?
It took me a long time, frankly. I probably had attended, I think, 6 of those Goenka 10-day courses before I finally established a daily practice. I kept thinking and knowing somehow that if I just kept a regular practice, things would really begin to change. But I never seemed to have the discipline once I got back out into my busy life. So I made a commitment that for 6 months, every day at 6 a.m., I was going to be sitting. And no matter what. And then at the end of the 6 months, I would decide whether or not I want to re-up. Well, after 6 months of steady practice, I re-upped for another 6. And then after the first year, I re-upped for another year. And it turned into a decades-long endeavor of getting up every single morning and practicing every single day. So that's what ultimately led to what Quepasana is today, because I started letting my friends know that I was sitting every morning at 6 a.m. and any of them who wanted to come join me could. So the numbers started growing. Every morning my driveway was filled with cars at 6 a.m. and we'd just sit and meditate and then maybe have tea or something. And it encouraged me to practice, and it became an opportunity for me to share my practice with other people, which led us to all of this ultimately.
One of the things you said at the end of the retreat is it alluded to this idea of being vibrationally upgraded, and your life is going to change, and just trust that it's for the better. How did you find grace in the way that, friends were like, oh, I don't like what he's up to, or, maybe business changes? How did you learn to navigate that with the level of grace?
Well, first of all, grace finds you when you do this work. You don't go looking for it. It just finds you. It just becomes part of who you are. And there's a process of unfolding in this life where there are certain people who are not going to understand who you're becoming or what's happening to you or the changes that you're undergoing, and it may threaten some people's relationship with you. And there are people who have just essentially dropped out of my life because they stopped feeling like they could recognize me. I did go through fundamental changes in how I approach everything. And one of those is finding grace, more grace in almost every circumstance. But it finds you.
Yeah, I remember during the retreat you had mentioned that you dealt a lot with anger, and that had been catalyzed through your life into something else. And, during the retreat, you slip and fall and hurt your leg. And how does Jorge approach these unforeseen circumstances in life and just manage them?
It almost feels like magic the way all this works. All you have to do is sit down, close your eyes, observe what you're feeling without any attachment and without wanting to change anything, and just allow things to be. And that starts to reshape your whole being, your whole personality into somebody that is more accepting of the way things are, is more graceful with other people, has a broader outlook on things. You're guided by what you feel. And ultimately, everything we do is to feel a particular way. Well, if you're tapped into that, then you can have and find more grace in life. And essentially, it's through equanimity. When you do this practice, you're strengthening the equanimity muscle. And equanimity just means staying centered and calm and at peace, regardless of whatever the external circumstances are. And this is a practice that just teaches you that. By sitting there completely still, no matter what comes up, you start going crazy. You start having all these things come up. You've made a commitment that you're going to sit still for some period of time, and you're breaking that programming of reactivity. Just breaking it and replacing it with a programming of equanimity, which ultimately leads to grace.
Yeah. I remember on day 3, I was sitting in the shala. We were all sitting in the shala, and the meditation ends, and I think you had cued us to get up to do running for the Jedis. And I instantly got so flooded with anger, like rage. And I was sitting there. This was probably the second or third sit we've had for the day, and so my back was really sore. And I remember just getting so angry, and you started to get up, and it just centered towards you, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was so blended with it. It was actually hard for me to get to the question of what is this. But I remember being like, "What is going on?" Because I was like, "I don't want to go outside. I want to sit right here." And as I sat right there, the question that came through me was, why the fuck is nobody paying attention to me? And I was like, what is that? And it clicked. And what came through was when I was little and my brother was abusing me, if I was in pain, my parents would come running. So if I started screaming, if I started crying, they would come save me. And I've committed to not making noise for these 10 days. And so I can't express this pain to anybody. And so no one's coming to save me now. And I, in that moment, realized that I have outdated software, that I'm hurting myself in order to create significance. And I just sat in that shala and just sat there and cried while everybody was running outside. And I just sat there and just melted into myself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What a moment.
Yeah.
A moment of freedom from
Yeah.
some pattern that's been plaguing you your whole life.
It was a momentary interruption of just this old way of being, that was so deeply hard coded into my body. It wasn't, I mean, it was surely in my mind, but also like it lived as pain in my body. And as I cried, I sat there and I was completely still. There was no pain in my body anymore. And I was like,
Where's that pain now?
yeah, I was like, why doesn't this hurt anymore? And it was like, well, because you felt it. And I was like, oh, wow.
And you were just with it.
Yeah.
You didn't push against it.
Yeah.
The suffering comes from the resistance to the pain.
Right.
Not from the pain itself. It's just a bunch of sensations.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you saying that at the beginning of the retreat of like, just so we're clear, everything you're going to experience is a sensation. Everything in life is a sensation or a searching for one. And yeah, how have you, I mean, because you've created such an incredible life. And what is the balance of, searching for sensation and I guess what I could say is like the play and the discipline?
This work makes you a more capable human being on every level. Physical, mental, emotional, material, business, anything. Anything you choose to do going forward, you're going to be better at it. Whatever you're already a master at, you're going to become better at. Whatever you want to master, you're going to be able to master. Just because you're doing this one simple thing, this one simple trick. It's all it is. It's just that. And that's how it's happened. As my practice has evolved and I have softened and I have become more integrated, more whole, more coherent, then everything in my life starts to reflect that. My business, my relationships, everything around me, and the things that are no longer in coherence with this new frequency just fall away. And so, it's pretty cool.
You're probably one of the first people I've met, Jorge, that loves meditation on the level I do. I've said, because I've taught breathwork for almost a decade now, and a lot of those type of practices, but I've always gone back to meditation is the one thing. And one of the things I like to say is, if you meditate long enough, you'll realize there's only one thing to do. And then go do that one thing.
Yeah.
And then go sit again and go do that one thing. And I guess I see that my perception of you as well is like, just go do the one thing, get out of the way.
That's it.
Go do that thing.
Yeah.
And then go find the next thing to do. And it's interesting to meet a man that's as successful as you are and to hear you be like, I don't have a plan.
I don't. I don't know how things work. I don't know where we came from. I don't know where we're going. I just don't, and I don't pretend to. But I just always know what to do in the moment. And that's all I need.
Wow. Yeah. Tell me about what it was like coming to Maui. And, one of the things you mentioned was, you now live on the beach that you saw, that you said you were going to live in front of. What was that like to go on that manifestation journey?
Oh, it's been amazing. So I was so drawn to Maui for all the obvious reasons, but also because it reminded me very much of Mexico, where I grew up on a lot of different levels. And I just always felt drawn here, and particularly towards Big Beach and Little Beach. That just was my place. That's where I healed myself, actually, from those years of self-abuse in that corporate life. And it seems, and this was during the housing crisis when I first came out here. So I was renting places and moving from place to place when I first got here every 6 months or a year. But every time I moved, it got me closer and closer and closer to Big Beach. It just happened that way. And again, it's just a matter of letting it all unfold. I wasn't chasing it. I never thought I could actually live in a place like this and have this life. It never occurred to me that this would be possible. But yet, I just got caught in a current, essentially, and I've been going down that current, and everything that happens, it feels like it's magic revealing itself to me. It's not. Turns out it's really simple stuff, and it all fits perfectly within a materialistic point of view. But it feels like magic because of the clarity of mind that I have at this point in my life now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it feels, again, from my perception of witnessing you, during the Quepasana retreat, my guess is you're still running your business. If you're on calls, or what is, some people will call it balance, some people will call it harmony. What does that practice look like for you to cultivate living life on your terms and power?
Well, first of all, I have set up my entire universe so that wherever I am, I'm in control. And called me a control freak, I'm not sure, but my business life, I am in control of my own universe, and then that way I can have it any way I want. So if I want to show up to a meeting, I show up. If I don't want to show up, I don't show up. If I want the meeting to last 5 minutes, it'll last 5 minutes. And most of my meetings are very brief, to the point, clear. I see people spinning out of control in their minds, and I guide them right back to exactly where they need to be in this moment, and it's quick. And over the 30 years I've been running this company, I've established long-term relationships with my employees where they really trust me to have their backs, and to be clear, and to be a leader in integrity, but also a leader that is not always going to be there for them. So it encourages them to be more self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. So I've set it all up so that I can have everything I want my way.
That's so funny you say that, because when we finished Vipassana, we were talking, I was literally standing right here, and someone asked, Kaya was like, what did you miss most during those 10 days? And I was like, I didn't miss the talking. I didn't miss my phone. I missed control. That was the one thing I don't feel like I had.
Yes.
Which looking back on it now, I actually had quite a level of certainty of like, well, this is when we're going to wake up. This is when we're going to eat. I mean, I don't know when is, right, but I know it's going to happen.
There's a bell that's going to ring, and there's some place you have to be.
Right.
Yeah. And there's something very comforting in that.
Yes.
In that.
Yeah, it was quite a lush cage to sit in and to meet myself in. And yet there was a part of me that was like, I don't feel like I get to control this.
Not for 10 days, you don't.
Right.
And that's part of breaking the programming.
Yeah. I could see that, because it was also like, well, the thing I get to control then is my mind. Don't touch my face when this fly lands on me. Mm-hmm. Do I want to wear this mosquito net, or do I not? Do I want to sit on this bolster this way, or do I want to sit on it this way? And
you always have 100% control of how you react to anything.
Right.
Even if you don't think you do have it.
Right.
And what this teaches you, even when you have no control, you have absolute control of your mental state.
Yeah.
At any moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like how my life is going, how things are shaping up, the way my business runs, the way the nonprofit runs, the way my properties run, the way all my relationships go. And it's very easy for me to make big decisions and little decisions constantly. It's just not a problem. So I'm constantly guiding and making decisions and making sure that everything goes smoothly, and always with everyone's needs in mind. But I get to decide in my life how things go.
Wow. It's interesting, because I've said in science we haven't distinguished the chemical that influences the biology that influences our decision-making capability. But we notice as the day goes on, that's why drug dealers work at night, because decision fatigue is a thing. What has it been like to flex that muscle for you and rep it, where my guess is you don't have to make a lot of decisions a day. And when you do, you're very certain of them, or you're very clear. But how have you managed to build like flexibility in your ability to make decisions confidently?
Again, I think it's through this work, by just gaining mental clarity, by being able to tap into what I feel, and instead of being reactive to whatever's happening, be able to respond consciously. And I do make a lot of decisions every day, a lot of decisions. You just watch me here over the last 20 minutes, constantly making decisions, but they're easy. There's no struggle whatsoever, no conundrums. There are no conundrums in my life. No, should I do this or should I do that? I just always know exactly what I need to be doing in the moment. It's so liberating. Oh my God, the amount of energy that it frees up to create more. It's just astounding.
I mean, that was one really big thing that came through my own awareness of this retreat was how much my body, my nervous system has been addicted to chaos. Of like, oh, well, if I don't have grounding, well, then my nervous system gets like a shot of adrenaline and I get to feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the more I choose to sit still, and the first thing I wake up, my alarm goes off, which I have not been an alarm person, but in order to keep me disciplined, I let that alarm go off. And at 6:01, I'm back on my bed, sitting for 30 minutes.
Beautiful.
And just being ultimately there. And I watched it today where, I sat for 30 minutes and I was like, okay, I have enough time to go to the gym, come home, make breakfast, pack up the podcast gear, drive to McKenna. And then the rain slowed me down. And I watched that spin out happen of like, okay, what are we going to do? And are we still going to have a podcast? Well, just text the guy and find out, and your the gate code is fine. Okay, great. So here we are. We're still on track.
Yeah.
And even on the drive here, wanting my nervous system, wanting that known familiar of some level of chaos. And it's like, dude, drive the car, man. We're in a 4,000-pound death machine if we're not careful. Like, just drive the car.
Yeah.
It's raining right now. And to still myself back, and I think that's part of my integration of this new way of being is my life is incredibly peaceful now. Not just in the past couple of days, but in the past couple of years, I've made a life where I don't need to freak out unless I feel like it. And then it's like, I don't really like that feeling.
Yeah.
And so...
And now you have a choice.
Right.
And this practice gives you that momentary response before the reaction. Instead of reacting to something, you respond. It's not slower. It's actually faster because you're guided through the original stimulus, which is what you're feeling. And now that feeling creates a response instead of the feeling creating a reaction.
Yeah. How has this practice and this lifestyle, it has to have taught you so much about the healthcare industry that you're in?
Oh yeah, well yes. It all comes together ultimately, right? The whole thing, and I think one of the reasons that I'm in healthcare tech is because the world is sick right now. People are getting sicker. We're spending trillions of dollars on healthcare, $5 trillion this year on healthcare. And if you go back 30 years to when I started working my company, building my company, we were spending 850 million, less than $1 trillion. Now we're spending $5 trillion. We have 10 times the amount of Alzheimer's or cognitive decline. We have obesity, we have diabetes, we have, all of the degenerative diseases are going up. And it's time to rethink the entire healthcare continuum. And we're going to play a role in that. I've been in this industry for 30 years. We're on the inside of the insurance side of things, which is where the central repository of all the data is.
Totally.
And I think we can make a big difference, particularly now in the age of AI. So yeah, that's the next project now is combine the work that I've done personally and also in giving to the world these transformational events, helping people get healthier and more clear and more in alignment, and use healthcare as a way to bring that to everybody. Catch them before they get sick. Help them thrive in their lives instead of waiting around to get sick and then have to go to a doctor to get some medicine, which works for a lot of people, but it's not necessary if you approach things correctly and you keep yourself healthy. So that's the next project now.
What a monumental opportunity for impact. Working, because I worked in the disability community for 8 years and seeing how much money exists both to be made and collected and all that, but the amount of impact, how does, because part of healthcare or sick care, or whatever you want, disease management, is you need people who need it. And so in this opportunity to shift the game, it's on a very foundational level. How do you foresee the pharmas of the world wanting to play that game with you?
I think in this age of AI and robotics now, we're all going to have to shift, or we're going to become irrelevant. Every one of us. It's just the ground is shifting from under all of us.
For sure.
And we can fight it, we can put our heads in the sand, or we can find ways to work with it to make things better. So I think that change is coming, and it is inevitable now. Healthcare will become predictive. Healthcare will become individualized. Healthcare will become about health, not disease treatment. And that is an inevitability now. The question is, how are you going to play in this new world? And how can you help that wave come in the most graceful way? And resisting it and pushing it against it and thinking that if you bury your head in the sand, it's going to go away, they're going to get taken over. So it's the leaders that are going to be the leaders of tomorrow have to adapt to this new way now. Pharma, the AMA, all of it. They're going to have to change, and it's inevitable now. Power to the people.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that view because, I grew up incredibly sick. I had debilitating asthma, eczema, allergies, heartburn. Like, I was multiple autoimmune conditions, and now I don't have any of them. And through, I guess what you would call holistic healing practices, have brought myself home to believing that I can trust life again. And yeah, this AI inevitability to helpful, to hopefully get all people to that potential place.
Yeah, we're working on a project at Plexis right now. It's called Levity, and the LEV stands for longevity escape velocity, which is essentially the ability to age chronologically but suspend or reverse aging biologically. And all of it can be accomplished through lifestyle changes. You change what you eat. You change how much you move. You change, you change your environment. You change your inputs, and that alone could cut healthcare costs by 30, 40, 50%. Imagine,
Wow.
several $1 trillion saved every year on disease care. Now we can apply that to all kinds of other good projects, good things that. So yeah, we're working on that right now. We're waiting to see how some things develop with health apps that some of the large AI models are coming out with, but we're going to enhance upon what they're building and create a lifestyle change set of protocols that can help people stay healthy and get healthier and heal themselves without the necessity for medical intervention. Medical intervention still has its place, and it'll be there for when we need it, but why not do the things in advance that are going to help you not need it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, acute care is great when you get in a car accident, but
yeah.
chronic disease management isn't the best strategy.
Well, I think the whole thing about chronic disease is just prevention.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
It's all preventable. We're not stuck with that.
No.
We can keep it from happening, and then the medical interventions become not necessary, and they're there to help you for whatever you need. But hopefully, we'll need a lot less of it. And so we're starting to take the steps in that direction at Plexus, and longevity escape velocity through information technology for youthening. That's what Levity means.
Wow.
And it's
that.
an AI-based, AI-native set of apps that will give you all the information that you need about what's happening with you and give you lifestyle enhancements and meet you where you are, help you move forward at whatever rate you're ready to move forward in any moment.
Wow. I love that. Yeah, sounds very compassionate, like, hey, this is what's available, and to what level, what speed do you want to move at? And there's no bullying,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we've been living this ourselves for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The enhancements in health and well-being and cognitive function and everything. And now we're seeing that it really works really well. So now we're finding ways to bring it to the world. And Plexus is the perfect mechanism for bringing out something new that is going to revolutionize healthcare ultimately. Will it be us? I don't know, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And it'll be, if not us, somebody else like us that's going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think back to the retreat where, the diet was the nutritional plan for us was very clear. And you were very clear beforehand of like, hey, if you're addicted to sugar, this is gonna rock your world to some extent. And so
Yeah.
to come here, and I'll show you before and after picture later of what I looked like before the retreat and after the retreat.
I saw. You transformed. You look so different now from the day you showed up.
My eye color changed. My eyes lightened.
Yeah.
I came out and people were like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, I just, I went in on every level.
Yeah, and you present yourself now very differently than you did when you first arrived.
I can see that. Yeah. And I just keep coming back. It's like I almost want to ask the same question over and over again of like, is it really just sit still? Is it really this simple? And it feels like it is.
It is.
To just embrace that.
Yes, and you know what? Here's the thing, and let's say it turns out not to be. What have you wasted? You got to spend some time every day in silence listening to yourself. Mm-hmm. That can only provide benefit. Will it rock your world and change everything for you? I think so, but even if it doesn't, trust that spending a little bit of time with yourself each day is going to enhance your life in at least some meaningful way.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember when, I think it was day 7 or 8, we started doing the internal scanning, and I was still it took me till day 8 to ask for a chair, and I sat in a chair once and I was like, this doesn't hurt. Why did it take me 8 days to ask for this? And I was like, that's a lesson there too, bud.
Well, there's that, but also you learned a lot from sitting still through that pain.
For sure.
Because the thing that causes us most of our suffering is something happens that feels unacceptable and we react to it, whether it's pain, whatever. Some stimulus that you don't like comes up, you have developed an entire set of life strategies around pushing that away and not being with it. Now you got to sit there and feel it. Totally. And your pain tolerance will be higher going forward because you did that work. Yep. Your ability to sit through uncomfortable circumstances that require you to just be will increase. Your reactivity will go down. So those first few days that you spent struggling in pain were your greatest teacher.
I got to know a lot of myself.
Yes.
And how much my old self would run. Just look for some other stimulus and pick up my phone and scroll or drink or eat something or whatever, and to just be like, no, dude, we said we were going to do that. Like I signed this piece of paper that said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be with this and I'm going to shut up, and it's so well designed to, as you said, to meet yourself on such a deep level and see where do these patterns arise elsewhere in life? Where can you not be with yourself, or where can you not sit still, or where all this stuff. And so one of the guys that's coming to the April retreat, Randy, he was like, he asked me a question. He loves asking questions. He's like, where would you rank it on things that occurred in your life? And I was like, easily top 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, probably top 5. And he goes, what's before that? Like what ranks higher? And I don't remember one of them was like getting a dog, like just these like pivotal foundational moments. But I could not have imagined it being that powerful. Everybody I've told, I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Just find one. I don't care if it's here, Big Eye, Montana. Just go do one. Yeah. Just go meet. I talked to a guy in the gym today. He's like, I would go insane. I'm like, you might need to.
Well, no, you're already insane. You're just going to see your insanity and you're going to be with it and might help you out of it.
Right. Yeah. And I'm curious, so just to go back to 106 or the past 100, you started introducing Jorge and AI and some of these new technologies into it. What has it been like to bridge what I would call ancestral intelligence, the silence practice, with artificial intelligence, this new world technology. What has it been like for you?
Well, my experience is AI nails it in terms of tapping into ancient wisdom and bringing it to something that's relevant to what's happening here today with me and with everyone here. It couldn't be more precise, accurate, inspiring, compassionate, loving, equanimous. It's fascinating. I love it. I love how it's being used here because we are bringing out the best of all humanity through AI and training AI to be all those things going forward. So yeah, it's changed everything, and I'm going to be using it more and more. We have a group of 11 people coming today to stay here for a week. They're the AI special ops team at Plexis, and one of the things these guys are going to get, they don't know this yet, but on Thursday they're going to have an entire day of nothing, not even meditation, because meditation is doing something.
Totally.
No, you get to do nothing for a whole day. And that will create the space for these really bright, capable people who are so in their heads to just clear space and let innovation come through, let inspiration come through. So I think that we have a real opportunity to bring our humanness to this new technology with the work that we're doing here and not hide from it, not run from it, but embrace it and help it. AI is a toddler right now, and it's just starting to learn. How do we want to train it? What kind of world do you want your toddler to be running someday, right? Well, this is the kind of world that I would like it to be running. You know, compassionate, loving, caring, equanimous, looking out for the best outcome for everyone and everything involved. That's what we as humans have been looking for, a higher intelligence that's going to guide us into living beautiful lives. So I think that we need to continue these ancient traditions and stay true to them, to the parts that still make sense today. And the one part that I always leave completely alone, I play with all the edges, is the Vipassana meditation. Because it's already stripped down to its bare essence, and that's its power. You don't mess with that. We keep that exactly the same. But then around that, we throw in AI transmissions from Jorge that are funny and inspirational and can make you laugh and can make you cry. We throw in yin yoga to make you feel comfortable and nurtured and to teach you how to heal yourself and nurture yourself. We have running of the Jedis to help you blow it out, right? We have dancing to help inspire you to just feel better. We have Kundalini yoga. We have, all these different nurturing practices around it that enhance your ability to feel in a less threatening and harsh way as this, because this Vipassana is a really advanced practice. How could something so simple be so advanced? Well, just try it. But what I've done here over the years is I've massaged this entire experience to be able to aid in the core of it, which is meditation, the meditation practice. So that's how, and now AI just becomes one of those other tools. Playtime, recess, breath work, so many different practices that we bring to this to help you dive deeper and have a richer experience while you're here and a richer experience once you leave here. And AI is just going to be one of those tools, one of those toys that we use here to help guide people into transformation. You were saying something earlier about this was one of your top 5 experiences. If you look at the notes that people have left here over the years, I'd say at least half of the people who have left notes say this is the single most transformational experience I have ever had and the greatest gift I have ever received. And, it's just, we've landed on a mixture of things. We've created this beautiful recipe of simple things that already exist. There's nothing new here. And just taking a bunch of really cool things, put them together, wrap them around a simple meditation practice, and it has created the most transformational experience that people have ever had. And that brings me so much joy.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very easy to see that, in you of like how lucky you are as a human to have found something that not only scratches your itch, but scratches others as well. And yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to other people who've done Vipassana retreats. One of my friends done 8, and another one done 15 and whatever. And they were like, they struggled with some of the things I told them that were happening. And well, there's not supposed to be yoga, and there's not supposed to be there's reset. What do you mean? Like you're supposed to just sit? And I was like, the level of conservatism of just this is the version they were. One of my friends equated it to the difference between a wine cooler and drinking Everclear. And I was like, I would rather drink a wine cooler. I mean, I don't want to drink either, honestly,
Right.
but I surely don't want to drink Everclear.
Well,
straight alcohol.
The Goenka courses and the traditional Vipassana are powerful containers, and it's boot camp, and you go in and I would recommend to anyone, go do that, right?
Yeah.
But that's just not what's happening here. All of these things that you just mentioned, whether it's the no movement, no yoga, no this, they're not, it's not dogma. Those are practicalities that were important at the time those courses were created, given the cultural tradition it came from. Like, you have to wear long pants. You can't wear a shirt without sleeves. All those kind of things were very important at that point in time. But right now, I don't think that those things are really that relevant. What's really relevant is the core practice itself. And how do you help the spark light in people? This I found is a great way to gently hold them while they transform, instead of pushing them. And me, I needed a push, and I got my push, and I kept going every year back for my push, right? So it has a place, and it's pure. But to think that is more pure than this, or this is more pure than that, that's not it. I have gone through great lengths to strip anything that even feels like dogma, and bring about something that is more adapted to this place and this time. So, but staying true to the core practice.
Yeah, it's interesting for the intentionality that you've had around building this without dogma. For what it sounded like for the first time in Q106, there were a couple people who were very clearly feeling like it was dogma, and for the first time, they were asked to leave. What do you feel like that taught you about the experience, or just there's a learning for you as well?
I think the main thing is I have to own what happened, and what happened was I was not very clear with people about what they could expect. This represents such a radical shift that it didn't feel radical to me. I didn't think I'd have to warn people,
Sure.
but apparently I do.
Yeah.
So now, we're making it very clear in all of our documentation that AI is a part of this experience. And if this doesn't work for you, trust that, believe that. So I think being more clear and helping guide people a little bit better will help eliminate any resistance. We'll try to make sure that people don't show up and are surprised by what's happening here. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love AI. I use it for my business. I also make music with it. So I was like, let's go. This is just part of the game. And I found a real synergy with it. Actually, you've reminded me so much of one of my friends. He was a tech founder as well, and he was the one that got me into AI music, and he also has a shaved head. And so I was like, I'm playing with like a 60-year-old version of my friend Aaron. And so it was like really sweet to see this. And he's very playful. He bought a fleet of one wheels for his house for all of his friends. Like, it was just like, this is like,
oh yeah. Sounds like
I haven't told him yet, but I'm gonna be like, you need to come. He used to live on Maui. He since moved, but I'm like, bro, come, just trust me.
Check it out. For sure.
And it's, I think for me, one of my core values is play. And it didn't used to be, and to have come into something that would normally be considered, and I use this word intentionally just based on my old framework, would be stale, of like you're sitting for 10 hours and there's nothing else you're going to do. And to have play and to be like, okay, yes, this is challenging and it's okay to enjoy it, dude. For me, that was never, I was like, sit in this fucking ice bath and find peace with this pain. And it's like, I've done this so much in my life, man. Like, just quit. Like,
have some fun.
Yeah.
Somebody who came to a course one time said, and she realized what she said the moment she said it. She said, "We didn't come here to have fun. We came here to end suffering." What do you do when you end suffering? You have fun.
Yeah.
So, having this be a fun experience is an essential part of it for me. Because the moment Quepasana stops being fun for me is the moment Quepasana stops.
You were very clear with that. You were very clear, yeah. And
right? I mean, it's, and I want to make it as fun for all of you as possible. I want you to have a great time while you're here, while you're doing this really deep and intensive work on yourself. And I think we've achieved that here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question about like, we live in this world of money and many people have money stories about spending it. And I did the napkin math, and it's like you're spending tens of thousands of dollars a 10-day course easily.
I have spent well over $1 million of my money
Easily
on this experience over the years. And by the way, people think I'm a lot richer than I am. I'm not. I basically spend everything I have on this. I don't have a problem with that. So I think people assume because of the level of generosity that's here that I must have just vast resources. No, that's not true. But everything I have is going into this, and gladly. I mean, if you're going to make money, what are you going to do with it, right?
Right.
I can't think of a better thing to do with my money than this.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely filling the karma bank.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just in case, because I don't know what happens after you die, but just in case it turns out that what I do here matters then, well, I've taken care of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love this idea of not having a plan. Like, this is the plan is now. And for right now, this is what it looks like. And there's a 107 coming in April. And as far as you know, there'll be a 108 coming in November.
Probably June. Well, there's going to be 2 or 3 in Ashland, most likely.
Okay.
But anything can change, right?
Yeah.
Over the summer, and then there will be another one here in November.
Got it.
But that's currently the plan. But there's no long-term plan. There's no long-term vision. We're just going to let this go where it's intended to go.
Got it.
And just know when to say yes.
Cool. If people want to get into this practice or this retreat, where would you instruct them to start?
Well, right now we're being extremely cautious about who gets in because this is our home and this is a very sacred container and we have people doing deep work. So we're only accepting people who either we know really well and have been to multiple courses or who come highly recommended by people we know really well. And the question I've been asking people who say, I want my friend to come, say, would you spend 100 days on a boat with this person?
Oh, wow.
And if the answer is no, well, this is not the, this is not the thing. Yeah. Somebody wrote back, said, well, I wouldn't spend 100 days on a boat, period, but I'd spend 30 days on the boat with this person. So they're let in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we need to be very mindful about being very selective about who comes in. So the way to get into this particular set of circumstances is to know someone like you, for example, that has become a trusted friend, and you say, yes, this person should come.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of, let's say, getting into meditation or into another Vipassana, where would they start?
Well, the last time I looked, the Goenka centers, there were over 200 centers around the world.
Oh, wow.
And they're doing regular courses, sometimes once, twice a month. And it's a great organization doing great things, and I would highly encourage people. In fact, I would highly encourage people to go do that before they come do this. Go check that out. Then come do this, and you'll have a greater appreciation for both. They work well together. So I would say that that's pretty much the place I would recommend. But do some research. Look online. What type of contemplative practice appeals to you? Go search that. The answers are inside. Go find some practice that helps you look inward. This may not be it. This is not the only way. This is one way to find liberation, but there's many paths to liberation.
Yeah, what an invitation here, being human. Just to sit with that and find something that really works for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's say this is a simulation, right? That's one of the theories. And what level of simulation are we at? Who knows, right? Well, how do you level up?
Right.
How do you level up to the next level? What's the cheat code for this level that we're in right now?
Yeah.
I think this gives you the cheat code to level up.
It definitely feels like that.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like, I was watching a video yesterday that was like, right before you level up, everything in the way of that will be there. All the coping strategies, all the excuses, all the limiting beliefs, all the whatever. And you can either take all that evidence to say, I'm not leveling up, or you can take that evidence and say, I'm right on the cusp. And to have a contemplative practice to sit with, which one am I actively choosing? And I'm going to choose the empowering path.
Yes.
And I'm going to sit with this long enough to catalyze it through me and notice my bullshit.
Yes.
And just stop.
You put up with a little internal suffering when you're sitting there and I call it itching, bitching, and twitching, right? and you can't move. But the amount of suffering that saves you on the back end later is 100 times.
Easy.
Yeah, or more. So just, sit there, be a little uncomfortable, be with your uncomfortable feelings for whatever time you've committed. And that will help you find yourself in a lot less uncomfortable situations in your life.
I've thought about it lately of however long I sit on that cushion is it's just a trade-off for scrolling my phone.
Yes.
Like instead of scrolling Instagram, I'm going to sit on this cushion for 30 minutes. And maybe I do that twice in a day. And that's an hour less I'm on the gram getting programmed with death and despair and just weird chaos.
Yeah. Well, meditation is the greatest gift you can give yourself in this lifetime. Just take that in, and it's worth a try.
Yeah.
if that has any truth to it.
Yeah. No, it's I think it might be my favorite practice, period.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of breath work.
Yeah.
So you've done 106 Quepasanas, but you've also started this, almost 40 years ago. So I was trying to think of the math. You've probably done around 20,000 hours of meditation, I would imagine. At least 10.
Somebody asked me quite a while ago, it says, what are your hours? And of course, who knows, right? So I kind of went back and I tracked it. And this was about 8 years ago. And it was about 10,000 hours then, I think. So I would say, somewhere above 10, below 20.
Yeah. What an incredible 10,000 hour mastery to be on.
Oh, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah.
It was not always easy. There were tough moments, but I was just drawn like a moth to a flame. I just had to go sit my ass down and take a good, long, hard look at myself. Yeah.
Now that this is your norm, what excites you?
Everything. I spend all day excited about things. I was telling a recent course that one of my strategies I learned very early on in life. I was quite young, and I was in situations where I was essentially orphaned, and I was going from place to place and all of this. But I trained myself to, when I wake up, I think about what I'm excited about. And then I just get right out of bed. And it just became part of my second nature. So I'm pretty excited about everything. I'm excited about what's happening with my business. I'm excited about Quepasana. I'm excited about AI. I'm excited about all the people in my life. I'm excited about my health and well-being. All the good things are happening. Yeah, it's all just pure euphoria.
Love that. No, this could be your life.
Yeah. And it wouldn't manifest itself this way, it would manifest in whatever is your greatest accomplishment. You will become master of your universe, and you'll be able to create your reality based on where you are. And that's the real trick. Whether it looks like this or not, that becomes irrelevant.
Yeah. Aside from meditation, what other practices do you utilize?
Well, everything that you experience during Quepasana, all those things. I get up in the mornings. I'm injured right now, but I do shake, rattle, and roll. I meditate. Then we do a 5-mile walk to the beach from here. We swim in the ocean. We come back. We generally do some yin yoga in the afternoon. We do an evening meditation. We play like little kids. We ride around on our one wheels and play smash ball. And so we're just living the way a little kid would live if he had all the money and no one to answer to.
I love that response because I wasn't sure if you were going to say something like sauna and cold plunge and red light and peptide. Like that's...
Well, that's all true too.
Oh, cool. Great.
In Ashland, we have a hyperbaric chamber we use almost every day. And there's a sauna and there's a cold plunge and there's a float tank here, by the way. And all these things, they're a part of it. But it's just mostly living a life of fun and play and ease and choosing every moment.
I love that. A couple more questions and then we'll wrap up. If you had a message for the world, what would it be?
So somebody asked me during this past course, what does success look like for me? What is my definition of success? And the answer was essentially what we call our meta practice here, which is I am well. You repeat this to yourself at the end of meditation when you're in a really deep and tapped in state. You're tapped into the field. You're tapped into your ability to create your life. And so we focus on essential qualities of being. I am loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. I am happy and content. What else do you need? That's success right there. What your external circumstances look like becomes absolutely irrelevant. And it just so turns out that you can have those 4 things no matter what. That's success. Understanding that at a fundamental level and living it, that's success. How much money you have means nothing without that.
Yeah. You might have just answered my next question, but we'll find out.
Okay.
What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I've been asked that one before too, and the thing that immediately came to mind was, it all works out, right? So don't worry, be happy. That's it. Yeah, I had a lot of worries about the future and what was going to happen and was I going to make it and was my business going to fail and this and that. And my life trajectory has been one of just constant upgrading and getting better. And why would that change? So I look back, I see, dude, don't worry, it all works out really well.
I'm going to take that one. So on the common thread, one of the reasons I created this podcast was to distill down the threads of the high achievers and the creatives that I've gotten to interview. And what I'm curious, Jorge, is what's the thread you're pulling on lately?
Oh, AI.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
It's talk about magic, right? It's happening. And it can be really fun, and it can be really good, and it can do a lot of good. And I love the idea of using it for the betterment of everything and everyone. Yeah, that's what's piquing my interest now.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I figured it was going to be. I mean, it is magic. On the drive here, I was talking to chat, being like, I'm about to go interview this guy. Go pull his company website and Quepasana's website and everything you know about him and write this introduction and then help me. Like, it was at a stoplight. Like less than a minute. Like, that is magic. That is wild.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes about magic or about science is just magic explained.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah,
and
exactly.
to see, like, now we have this tool that's like, it's a quantum, and it's on the level of our mind. It's a quantum computer that we have access to, that we can train, and it's like, oh wait, that's me too.
Yeah.
What do I do with that?
Yeah.
It's like whatever you want.
Well, the first assignment for the AI team that's coming is to create a 2 or 3 page summary that outlines the most optimistic and utopian outlook for what AI, robotics, and quantum computing are going to create, and the steps of how we get there and what it looks like on the other side. And of course, they're going to cut it and paste it and feed it, but it's going to have their flavor, and that's going to be how we open up the whole week. Is what is the end game here, and what is the most optimistic, utopian, out of the world. So I'm taking all of this input, and I'm combining it with information that I have about each one of them, and then I'm going to have Jorge, of course, speak to each one of them individually about what they want, and we're going to create a shared vision for the ultimate future, and that's how we begin the 7 days of AI training.
I love that. I love that you're doing a day of nothing. My first coach I hired, maybe 6 months in, he was like, okay, you're going to do nothing for a half hour a day. And I was like, okay.
That's easy.
Yeah. So like, he's like, I just want you to sit on the couch and do nothing. I'm like, okay, so like meditate. And he's like, no.
That's doing something.
Yeah. And I was like, so like breath work. He's like, no, I said nothing. Do nothing. And I'm like, and I would literally come downstairs and sit on my couch. And I told my girlfriend at the time, I was like, look, this is the assignment from Daniel. I can't talk to you. I'm supposed to do nothing. And she would just sit there and laugh at me, like just spinning out of like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I just stare at the wall. I'm like, and so that occurred very similar time frame. I was in yoga teacher training, and my teacher was like, I had quit, I think it was drinking and smoking weed at the time. And so she was like, you're still doing too much. She's like, I want you to stop reading.
Oh yeah, no reading.
And I was like, okay. And then it really confronted me because my partner was raised Jewish. So on Saturday we'd hold the Sabbath, or it was, I think Saturday Saturday we'd do screen sabbatical, and Sunday we'd hold the Sabbath. So for the whole weekend, I couldn't read. I couldn't like work. So I would just walk around the city aimlessly. I would just walk. And I don't know what to do with this. And I don't have my phone. I'm like kind of lost. And it's just like like this level of aimlessness right now, which I think is part of what the opportunity to solve in the world is this lack of meaning crisis, this existential thing of like, okay, well, AI is going to help us stop suffering. So do I stop suffering then?
Yeah, might as well stop now.
I might as well just quit, drop the act.
Yeah. Well, boredom is the creator's best friend.
Yes. Love that. Yes. I agree 100%.
Yeah. And so they're going to be really, really bored for a whole day. But here's one thing. They're going to get multiple Jorge transmissions throughout the day. There'll be breaks, and they're going to sit down and listen to Jorge, and then they're going to go off and think and just be. Yeah. They don't even have to think if they don't want to. Their only assignment is do nothing for a whole day. I've never done that.
I love it. Yeah.
So the whole idea is rewire their brains
Yeah.
into an innovative mindset, essentially. Inspiration.
I love the ability you found to cultivate spaces and places where we can realize that the entheogenic experience of psychedelia occurs within us without some exogenous substance. Just being, no, just sit still and just be, and you'll realize your mind is a carnival.
Yeah.
And sit with that.
Yes. And that's what you experienced when you came here for 10 days. You got to see a bit of that.
Yeah.
So I have a limited amount of time, and also I don't feel that you can ever require anybody to meditate or do yoga. Those things have to be things you're hungry for. So I'm gonna make it available to them. But no, there won't be a requirement. The only requirement is the first day, an hour of nothing. The second day, an hour and a half of nothing. The third day, a whole day of nothing. We'll see how that plays.
I love this. I can't wait to hear more. Last question. What does it mean to be human?
To me, when somebody asks me what something means, is what does it mean to you in that moment, right?
Got it.
That can change. And so I'm just completely drawing a blank on that one.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a new answer.
Yeah. What does it mean to be human? Whatever it means to you in this moment.
Got it.
That's it. For you.
Yeah.
What I say means nothing.
I love that. I love the space to just contemplate it, right?
Yeah.
To not have the answer and just be like, yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah. And and an answer's gonna come, and that's gonna be the right answer in that moment. The next moment, who knows? Don't get too attached to the answers.
Right. There's suffering in that. Yeah.
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 There's going to be another answer, and it's going to be more clear, and it's going to be more profound, and it's going to be more simple. And then there's going to be another one. So I don't know what anything means, and I don't know how anything works, and I don't subscribe to any religion or spiritual belief system or dogma or anything like that. I do subscribe to the simple practice of Vipassana meditation. The rest, whatever.
I love that. And I so deeply appreciate you being subscribed to that practice, Jorge. This is incredibly magical and transformative, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful.
Good. Well, I am grateful for you. You got a chance to play your instrument during the course.
I did. And I actually, one of the days, or two of the days, I think I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was so excited, being like, I got 5 minutes with my guitar, and it was like, what if I don't?
Yeah.
What if I don't? You know?
Yeah.
And to sit in that too of like, okay, can I have that discipline? Can I have that removal of that stimulus? And because I think I told you, or I think it was Lily maybe, I was like, I almost don't want to, because what's going to happen one day, and I'm going to call this in, I know I am right in this moment, so I'm going to play my guitar and no one's going to pay attention, and I'm going to be like, why didn't you like my song? And it happened on like day one.
Nobody was
I played it.
Yeah.
I played it, and there was a couple people around, and they just, nothing.
Or they may have thought you were breaking the rules. I don't know.
Probably, who knows? But bottom line is, I got to make a story out of it and see how I felt about that story. And
then you got to go sit with that.
Yeah. And then, well, it was interesting because the next day I didn't play it. And then I got another story. And then on maybe the second to last day, I noticed someone else picked up their instrument.
Yeah.
And they started playing it outside of that. And then I was like, okay, so now I've created this nebulousness, and now this other person's playing, and now I'm annoyed by their music. and then it was like, dude, why are you taking responsibility for this? Like, you didn't pick up their instrument and put it in their hands and play it for them.
No, I gave them the same permission I gave you.
Right.
Yeah. It just in the moment occurs to me, I think it'd be really nice for somebody to be playing the guitar as we go into sunset meditation.
Yeah.
You seem to be really in tune with your guitar. I go, do that. And then it was, I think, on day 9, party day, I said, hey, guys, go play out there.
I remember because I was sitting at dinner, and they were playing their instrument, and I was just like, I just want one more day in silence. I just want one more meal in silence. And it was like, then go eat somewhere else. And I was like, why am I such a victim, dude?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was.
So the very first thing that comes to mind, what is your favorite part of the 10 days you spent here?
Easily remembered. So on day 8, I was sitting in the gazebo on the floating bed, and it was post lunch, and I was sitting there, it was post lunch, and I was rocking ever so slightly, and instantly I was transported back to my childhood, and I had a full out of body experience where I was laying in my mom's lap, and she was rocking me back and forth, and she was singing, "Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider." And when she said spider out, she tickled me in my stomach, and I exploded into pure joy.
While you were here?
Here.
Oh, you felt,
I
cool.
remembered viscerally in every cell of my body that memory. And in that moment, I declared I had a good childhood, which most of my healing has been about understanding why I didn't have a good childhood.
Right. And
Very tough.
You recovered the joy
Yes.
in your childhood.
And so when I declared I had a good childhood, it wasn't I think I had a good childhood. It wasn't I wonder if I did. It wasn't I believe. It was I know. In every cell of my body, I had a good childhood.
And in that moment, you dropped a whole bunch of reactive patterns in your life that came from the assumption that you didn't.
Yeah.
Now you know, and all this stuff is no longer necessary. It's gone from your program.
Bitterness, resentment.
All of that. Yeah.
And Because before that, my oldest memory, that one I was like 2. The oldest memory I had before that I was 5, and my parents were fighting so loud that I called the police on them. And so that was my earliest memory that I walked around with all the time, and I remembered it viscerally. And then this came in and overrode it, and I was just like, wow, like this is. There were moments like that, and there were moments that I hold with equal high regard that were incredibly difficult. Like on day 4, a bunch of my sexual trauma came back that I couldn't stop thinking about. I didn't know what to do with it, and I sat in this for 8 hours of just, what do I do with these thoughts, and how do I get rid of them, and all this stuff. And the last meditation, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I watched. I just accepted it. I was like, okay, fine. This is part of my life. This could happen. And I watched myself let go of this thought, and it just disappeared. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Now it's gone? And it was like, well, just notice what happened. This morning, this thought went across your mind, and you went like this and grabbed it. You took it down here and you looked at it, and you couldn't stop looking at it. And you tried to pick it apart and dismantle it and understand it and examine it. And you've been playing with it all day. And the moment you just let it go, it was gone.
The moment you were cool with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
That's what the guy kept saying it for. Just be cool with it. Just if you're cool with it, it's all fine.
so yeah, those I would say were pivotal moments.
Yeah.
Pivotal
Good.
moments. Yeah.
I love hearing these stories. That's what inspires me, propels me to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told my parents, I was like, I could never have found these things without sitting 5, 7, 9 days doing nothing.
What do your parents think about it all?
So I called my parents. We got on Thursday. I finally got a hold of them on Saturday. They were busy. So we got a hold of talking on Saturday. I called my mom. My mom's like, hey, how was it? And I was like, it was incredible. My dad in the background goes, yeah, I bet you just can't shut up now, huh? And I got one of those reactivity moments of like, oh, there's a sensation. I'm contracting right now. I'm annoyed. And actually, I haven't really talked that much. Been pretty quiet. And just to notice, right?
Yeah.
And I had talked to them for like an hour, hour and a half, and my relationship with my parents is incredible now. Years ago, I didn't talk to them. I blamed them for all the therapy I was in, all the drugs I was using, all that stuff. And now I'm talking to my mom for an hour, hour and a half, and this was actually probably one of the other things that was incredibly profound that came out of the retreat. So we get our phones back. I turn my phone on. I have 222 messages. And I, text my friend to come pick me up, comes, gets me. I start going through them in the car, and every one of them is great. Like all my friends and my dog sitter, there's not a single fire I need to put out. And I realized in that moment, I'm like, wow, this is my life. I created this. And I love this. It took me a long time to really affirm that I love my life.
You created a life where you can completely check out for 10 days and nothing goes wrong.
And be supported and held and nurtured and loved both by you and the ground, like all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I love my life. And then I opened my bank account because I was like, let's go expert level. And I opened my bank account and I was like, and I felt that contraction again. I was like, okay, this is a defining moment. Am I going to let money be my God? Am I going to bow to money now? Or am I going to hold sovereignty over my experience and not let this define who I am? I took a breath. And I was like, I'm not going to do it, man. Like, this is done. And so on Saturday when I talked to my parents, my mom, we went through this whole thing, and then she was like, so how's coaching? How's work? And I was like, it's going in great. And, I made a bunch of money in December, but I haven't made any money this month. So I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. And I was so calm. And normally my mom would come in and she would pressure me to get a job, or are you done with this? Like, are you going to grow up? And, and she was like, Scott, I know this is going to work. She's like, just keep going. She's like, this is what you're here to do. You are so good at this. Do not give up. She's like, we will send you grocery money you will not go hungry. And
stay on track. Wow,
exactly.
That's beautiful.
She's like, just keep being you. And at the end of it, she's like, we will not let you go hungry, Scott. Like, we will not let you suffer.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, I didn't know that. And she laughed. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I would never let myself be honest with you if I was struggling, because I was too afraid that you might not care.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, she laughed again. She's like, how could you ever believe that? And I was like, Mom, when I was little, if I wasn't in pain, you didn't care. That was my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been trying to get out of that pattern for my whole life. And I started crying, and I was like, and I now really get that you guys care about me. And my mom is like overwhelmed with emotion.
Breakthrough moment.
Oh, easily to repattern this way with my parents, And my dad, same thing. He's like, dude, we got you, bro. Like, it's okay. And for me to really feel held by my family again, like to be in integrity with that family unit again, it's like,
you changed the party inside, and now your outer world is reflecting that right back at you.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. So that was another just integral moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was any more questions or anything?
No, I just, thank you again. And
Okay.
thank you for taking the time.
Oh,
and sharing
I'm
your
glad
story.
to. Yeah. This is fun for me. So.
Great. As you said, put a mic in front of you and you'll talk. So thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you to the audience for giving us your time and attention and presence and allowing yourself to be contributed to. And to learn more about Quepasana, quepasana.com.
Quepasana.com, yes.
Quepasana.com and vipassanadhamma.org.
Mm-hmm.
And go meet another part of yourself. And thank you for being here. Aloha.
It's a trust fall, baby, be into everything I can't see. You been trying to